at Better in Green. I'm here with Ethan as always. Tough weekend in the NFL and college football. It w- it was one of those weird overreaction weeks we talk about where a lot of underdogs won. Thankfully, I was on a couple of those dogs. But my player props just got wrecked. That's kind of been my moneymaker throughout this NFL season. I've just been hitting player props at a ridiculous rate. I think I gave out 6 touchdown scores on Sunday, and they weren't even that crazy. Like they were, one of them was Green Bay's running back. I forget his name to score. I had, I don't know. They weren't like ridiculous things, and none of them hit. Brock Bowers got stopped on the 1 yard line. Josh Jacobs fumbled on the 1 yard line. Danny Dimes never had a chance, but so player props destroyed me, and I should probably stop betting player props because it's really not I don't think it's a long term investment, but I just was hitting them so good in the first week. So I got a little addicted to those. But my game lines, I think, were actually pretty accurate. I know we both liked quite a bit of these ugly lines, and these ugly lines end up hitting outright on the money lines. I know. I think we both like I like the Raiders. I think you like the Ravens, but the Raiders won outright as a 9.5-point dog. We saw the Vikings win outright against the Niners. I know you were on them. We saw the Lions lose, which we'll try to skip over that one. Couple other dogs that I'm blanking on right now, but it was a dog heavy week, and we kind of have a very similar game tonight in the Falcons Eagles game. And I'm here with Ethan trying to dive through that slate, but I know I just kind of rambled there. Ethan, how did you fare this weekend? I know college football, me and you both had our struggles. I didn't quite hear from you in the NFL how you did yesterday, but how are you? How's the record? How's the morale? And how you feeling about tonight's game?
Yeah, I finally won yesterday, so winning day. But just rinse and repeat. Say this every time. I sound like a broken record. Left so many winners out there. So many leans that hit. Tampa plus the points. The Saints plus the points, and there's another big outright dog. I did like the under in that game too, so I guess that would have pushed. I would have lost the vig, so whatever. I did like the Ravens as well. I ended up keeping them out of a teaser, so I guess that saved me. But a couple other games in there. Cleveland, I know it was our squad ride. I know you were all over Cleveland. I liked Cleveland. Cincinnati, I didn't get involved with. So just some plays that I left out there that I kind of wish I would have gotten involved on. And then plays I got involved on, like the Panthers, that I wish I would have stayed away from. But yeah, I finally won overall on the day. But agreed. I did 3 touchdown scorers, 0 for 3. God, I took Tank Dell last night. I was between him and Nico Collins, and I took Dell at the plus 205 rather than Nico at plus 145. It's the risk-free DraftKings. I mean, it's a third of a unit for me, so whatever. But had Jameson Williams to score, had Amon-Ra St. Brown to score. Both came up short. Did have Amon-Ra over his receiving yards. So that was good. But yeah, I tried tracking a little bit last year. I'm going to do it again this year, track my player props separately from my NFL bets, just to see if it's profitable because, God, they're so much fun. It's hard to stay away from. But like you just said, I don't know if it's profitable.
Ben's in the comments. Thoughts on the Saints? Yeah, I mean, Rashid Shaheed is a beast. He is when did he become so fast? Has he always been that fast? I don't remember him being. I don't also remember him being that tall. He looks tall, lengthy, and he's flying. I mean, they scored 91 points in the first 2 weeks combined. I'm a little nervous about him. I don't think it's as big overreaction as people taking Super Bowl tickets with the Saints right now, but yeah, I mean, they look good. I'm a very happy Alvin Kamara owner. I thought he was risky this year. I actually kept him in a keeper league. I mean, he's getting up there in age. He scored 4 touchdowns yesterday, and he scored 20-some points week 1. He had 47 in our scoring system yesterday, and he's what, 30 years old? Is he 29, 30? Like, he's getting up there in age, and he is on fire, and Derek Carr's hitting the deep ball. Olave is still MIA, but I mean, you got Rashid Shaheed and Kamara going off. Carr's playing very well. I think they're a solid team. I kind of beat myself up for not taking them to win the what is that, NFC South? because the NFC South, we're going to find out tonight if the Falcons are any good. The NFC South is, well, I guess you also have the Bucks. Might actually be a pretty decent division. Yeah. How about what are your thoughts on the Saints?
Yeah, well, at least you held off betting on the Saints rather than betting against the Saints. I have a 3-unit play on the Saints under 7.5 wins. So it's now 10.5 is what the live win total is. So I am already screwed. However, I kind of want to get down on the under 10.5. I don't think they're an 11-win team. They beat Carolina and Dallas in a pretty bad letdown spot for Dallas, I think. I think there was just so much going on with Dak signing that deal in week 1 and just getting the locker room kind of rah-rah. That's our quarterback now for years to come. And I don't know. I just think I think Cleveland got screwed over by that whole thing. I think it just gave a big boost to Dallas in week 1 and then obviously the come down against the Saints. So I do like the under 10.5. I don't think the Saints are that good.
Yeah. And again, it's 2 weeks in. We can't really look at that Carolina win as anything worthwhile, but the Dallas win, again, that's gonna be on there pretty. I mean, that looks pretty good. I know it's a week 2 spot. It's hard to tell, but yeah, that's a pretty impressive win as right now. 1 point dogs next week versus Philly, as in the Saints. Yeah, I'm not. We're gonna get into this Philly game. I'm not very high on Philly. I still think that, I mean, I watched the one Brazil game. Obviously, we have one game to watch, and it looks kind of like the same old Philly shit that we always see. I mean, Hurts was throwing the ball around like he didn't even care, fumbling. Their center is a major concern. Hurts had 2 picks and a fumble. I don't know. Same old Philly. I'm not really impressed with their defense. We're going to find out tonight. I'm just going to be the elephant in the room. I am on the Falcons. I got them at the +6 right before that late line movement in favor of Atlanta. I'm on the Falcons today. I'm going to continue a crazy underdog streak in the NFL. The dogs just potentially winning outright and just destroying everyone's parlays. So I'm on the Falcons. I'm interested to see what they do tonight. I'm also very interested to see that game next week, Saints Falcons, if that's the one you're talking about. Quickly back to player props and parlays. I need to stop betting those because I am profitable this month. But like, if you look at my overall record, it's like, I don't even know the exact number. It's like 40 and 104 or something. I'm like winning like a third of my bets, but I have like 3 really big parlays that keep making me bet these parlays. And again, not to beat a broken record, but parlays are not profitable in the long run. And the NFL or DraftKings and the sports books have me right where they want me. Gave me a couple big early parlay wins, and now I'm cooked. Now I'm just gonna have 3, 4, 5 of them every single weekend, and yeah, they have me right where they want me. So probably should tone back a little bit. I am gonna tone back on bets too. It was a nightmare on Saturday and Sunday. I think I had 15 different game bets, and it was way too much. And I know I bet a lot of them early in the week, but it's just too much for me to track, to handle. I think I'm gonna, and I always say this, but I think I'm gonna try to limit myself to like five, and maybe a couple parlays, but 5 straight bets. And it was too much last weekend. You can't bet every game. I tried to, and I was exhausted, especially that 1 p.m. slate. Holy hell, 10 games going, almost had a heart attack.
Yeah, I used to be so selective. I don't know what happened or how I could do it. I used to do like 4, maybe 5 bets on a NFL Sunday. I would do like 2 or 3 in college football, and I was winning more than I am right now. So maybe I need to get back to that. But then I have days like yesterday where I had quite a good amount of bets, ended up profitable, but would have been more profitable had I loaded up on everything I like. So yeah, it really just, I can just never win. It can just never work out the exact way I need it to. Yeah, we'll see.
I point my problem. Well, I always shift the blame. It's never my fault, right? But it's the excitement of football being back. I just want to watch every game. I want to have action on every game, and it's exhausting. And you're never gonna. I don't know. I think the 1 week I'm gonna go like 12-0. It's just never gonna happen. Like if I go 6-6 betting 12 games and end up just negative from the vig like that, that's exhausting. I don't know. So I'm going to try to find a couple select games, maybe increase the unit size a little bit on those games and roll with it. But again, it's Monday. It's a long week. We'll see what happens come Saturday. I'm already staring at Michigan money line against USC, staring it right in the face. I have a confession as well.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
I got the Panthers +7 right before the move, right before the decision, and I'm back on the Panthers with Sam Darnold at Q, or sorry, Andy Dalton at Q. It's such a great spot, man. Oh, it's +5 now.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I'll take the +7 all day. It's still gonna lose by 21 points, but yeah, I mean the Panthers are gonna be the freaking sharp play every weekend. And it's just what it is. It's what it is.
Yeah, I'm on 3 plays already for week 3. Got ahead of 2 nice line movements, one of which was for 2 units, which I'm still debating on throwing more on. And then the other one, I'm behind the line. I did take the Colts before yesterday's action against the Bears. I got them 2.5. It's not 1.5. It went down to 1, and I think some people are coming in on Indy. I still think Indy's better, and I think they win that game. So I don't hate that I have a bad number as of right now on that one, but yeah, my other 2 are looking pretty good.
God damn it.
But I don't have the Panthers, but
I would say wait again because 5 is disgusting, and I think it's probably a little public as well now too. People jumping in on Andy Dalton. He's not a terrible quarterback.
no.
He can't be worse than Bryce Young. So maybe like some squares are just jumping on the change IQ, and it is a huge letdown spot for Vegas too. It's the betting. It's bet on 101, a massive outright win against the Ravens, push the Ravens to 0-2. It was at Baltimore too, right? And
Yeah.
just a massive win. And now they play the worst team in football. It's a terrible spot for the Raiders. But anyways, that's not why you guys are watching. We have Monday night.
Really quick before we get off of that, really quick. It is super weird. I mean, you and I were on the Packers this past weekend because the line moved from I think 4.5 to 3.5. So what is that? 8 points because of Jordan Love to Malik Willis. Now Carolina is without a starting quarterback. Go to their backup, and it's moved up 2 points. It's it's just unique. We liked the Packers because we got so much value off of the Jordan Love injury. It's hard now at the +5 where it is to think about Carolina when you have now lost value because of a quarterback change.
Yeah, and again, sorry to keep on this topic. I know you guys don't really care about listening to the terrible Panthers take, but I think part of me feels that they just want to keep Bryce Young at QB because they don't want to admit they made a massive mistake with the first overall pick and trading to get that pick. Then they give up their other year's first overall too to the Bears. Didn't they give up?
Yeah, I mean Caleb Williams, I think Caleb Williams would have been the first overall.
They could have Caleb. They could have had Stroud, and
they gave up DJ Moore.
And yeah, so I part of me thinks that Andy's probably, and I think it's clear to me. I do think Andy's probably the better QB right now, but part of me thinks like they're like we can't admit we made a problem. We got to keep starting Bryce, even if he's terrible. Let's just keep starting him. And now they realize, wow, he is really, really, really bad. They haven't led in a game, not even won a game. They haven't led in a game in close to a year, 280 days or something. Not even leading. They can't even score a field goal first. So I think they're like, wow, this is an embarrassment to everyone. This is more embarrassing than us screwing up the first overall draft pick. So let's actually play Andy Dalton because he is better. So I don't know. That was in regards to the line movement. My idea of the line movement post QB change, because I do think Andy's probably better. I think they were trying to save face. Go ahead.
Raiders first team to score -140.
Yeah, I mean that's probably going to be the bet. And then possibly once that cashes, live bet the Panthers. That's the winning formula. That's why you guys join. But let's get into the game. Falcons, Eagles. As I said, I am on the Falcons. I got them at +6 a little earlier today. It's dropped to was at -5 for a little bit for the Eagles. Looks like that got bet back up to -5.5. Over under sitting at 45.5. This is played at Philly. Looks like we might have a little precipitation on the East Coast out here. I don't really believe in weather much affecting games, but that could be something to mention. As I said, I am on the Falcons. I like the Falcons quite a bit. I do have some player props as well, but my singular straight bet is Falcons +6. How about you?
Yeah, you mentioned you sniped the Panthers before the line move. I sniped the Falcons before that move. Every book had 5.5. Go over to Fanatics, still had a 6.5, still -110. So I hopped in on Atlanta yesterday, 6.5 -110. So yeah, I like Atlanta. I think 5.5 you can still take them at. I think this is a 4-point game max, or it's going to come down to within a touchdown, like 4 points, 3 points, somewhere in there, where either someone kicks a game-winning field goal or they have to go for the touchdown because they're down 4 points and fail or make it. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, way too much value on Atlanta. I know the whole Kirk Cousins in primetime, everyone loves to fade. But you kind of mentioned on the Eagles, Hurts is looking similar to Josh Allen, where he just plays hero ball a little bit and doesn't care how many turnovers he has because he's going to have more touchdowns at the end of the day than he does turnovers. I think is his mindset, and they're going to end up winning a lot of games. Yeah, defensively, Philly struggled against Green Bay. I think Atlanta, it was Kirk Cousins' first game in almost a year off that injury, so he's only going to be better, even though he is in prime time, even though it is on the road. I mean, Atlanta came into this year equal to, or really with equal expectations, I think, as Philly. I think they both had 10.5 win total. So yeah, these teams, I think the 6.5, the 5.5, whatever you get it at, I don't think it's they're that far apart. So yeah, give me Atlanta. I like it quite a bit. It's actually one of my favorite plays in Week 2 NFL.
I will say, I know usually the half doesn't really matter. Last night, I really wish I had the Bears +6.5. I unfortunately got them at the 6. I was a little late to jumping on those Bears. Really needed that hit. I will take a push, but a push is, I guess it's a win in some people's books. I really needed that play to hit, just in regards to my day yesterday. So pushing the Bears +6 was a little devastating. But it is what it is. I still like the Falcons. I think the Falcons might win outright. Reminder, go ahead.
On a hook yesterday, which hurt. Yeah. I was texting Ben about it today, but gave out for the big 3, Jets Titans under 40.5. I ended up betting Jets Titans under 41. Closing line was Jets Titans under 41.5. It lands right on 41. So I lost the big 3, pushed my actual bet. Had I just waited, I could have gotten the hook. So yeah, I'm right there with you. That one would have made a nice difference for me as well.
There's nothing worse than losing on a hook. I hate it. I do have a couple player props in tonight's game. Reminder, no A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown was ruled out yesterday, maybe a little before yesterday, but that's when I saw it yesterday for the Eagles. So no A.J. Brown. I know it's a little square. I know it's a little obvious, but this now pushes Dotson to the wide receiver 2, and he had 0 receptions with 1 target last week. His line's at 2.5, and again, I hate betting the obvious next guy up philosophy, but I gotta take Dotson. I'll take him at the 2.5 on the receptions. I like it quite a bit. He was that guy for the Commanders last year, where if Scary Terry went down, he kind of became that other guy. And I know that would put him into wide receiver 1 as opposed to wide receiver 2, but he's a quick little guy. He's very similar to Devonta Smith, so I'm a little worried that they're going to have 2 light guys on the field at the same time. But I like Dotson to get quite a bit involved. I actually have him to score first, and I have him over 2.5 receptions. My final player prop, besides my obvious ones that you don't want, I do have Saquon and Bijan in a parlay, and I highly suggest not doing that. To score. I like Darnell Mooney quite a bit for the Falcons. 40 yards. It's around 40. Some books have him 37-ish. I got him 40 plus at like plus 115. So his line's probably like at 36, 37 yards. He had 1 catch for 15 yards last week. I have a really hard time seeing him get 40, and his line just seems very high. He had 3 catches last year. I know it's not a lot, but 3 catches last year for 38 plus yards, and that's just a singular catch. He has big playability. You got Drake London on the outside. You got Kyle Pitts on the inside. You got Bijan out of the backfield. I think Mooney might get lost. It's only going to take 1 catch potentially. It could just be 1 catch and Mooney's out of there. Quick little guy. I like him quite a bit for over receiving yards. Potentially, I couldn't find it on my bookie, but potentially longest catch. I know those are props out there, and it's probably going to be in the teens, high teens in there. I would debate taking that over as well.
Yeah, I did see your video. Just really quick, I just have to touch on the yards because I think it's a good bet moving forward. I need to just get off the JMO train, but I think it's just super. He's going to be a super profitable player until books catch on. But I took him. It didn't hit, but I took him over 110 plus yards yesterday. They had that line at plus 1,200, which I just thought was insane.
Nuts.
He just put up 120 in week one. Again, he didn't hit it yesterday, but he put up like 78, I think, or somewhere in there. So he wasn't too far off. For him, that's one medium catch away from cashing that. So look into that this week because, I mean, first drive of the game, he had a 50-yard bomb thrown to him. So, and they targeted him double 11 or 12 times, I think. So yeah, just had to bring that up because you were talking about Darnell Mooney's yards. I think that's profitable moving forward. But yeah, I watched your video that you posted about tonight's game. I am also on Jahan Dotson, 2.5 receptions. I did get it minus 110 as well over at Fanatics once again. Yeah, it does seem pretty square, pretty obvious. I'm shocked it hasn't moved, but I mean, it has to be. It's the number 2, operating out of the number 2 last week. Devontae Smith, I think, had 7 or 8 catches. Obviously, Smith is a little bit better than Dotson, but let's not forget Dotson was a first-round pick not long ago. I think he was in the Justin Jefferson draft. I think he was right before, right after Jefferson. So it's not like the guy doesn't have talent. It's not like, I know they elevated Paris Campbell off the practice squad, who's had some NFL minutes, maybe comparable to Jahan Dotson. But, I mean, just as far as skill goes, Jahan Dotson is a good player, better than Paris Campbell. And not only are they missing A.J. Brown, but they're missing other receivers as well. I know Johnny Wilson, the rookie receiver who plays behind Jahan Dotson, but he is also banged up, which is why they pulled Paris Campbell from the practice squad. It's a hamstring for Wilson, so that usually, even if they suit up, they're usually limited. And more times than not, I feel like they extended a little too far in the game and have to be taken out. Which leads me to, I think Britton Covey is worth a sprinkle for a touchdown score. If Johnny Wilson doesn't play, Covey should be the third receiver. He also does punt returns. You can get him plus 950 on DraftKings to score anytime. I could see them getting a little shifty with him for that touchdown score. But I think the one I'm going to do, I feel like he's just getting slept on. I'm going Dallas Goedert. He's plus 210. Again, I'm just doing this on DraftKings because they do the risk-free touchdown scorers, and I have to take those. Again, it's small units, but yeah, Dallas Goedert plus 210 score anytime. He had 5 targets last week, 4 catches. Reliable red zone threat. Like you said, Dotson and Devontae are both smaller guys. They don't have Brown to go deep with. Obviously, the tush push and Saquon can scalp those red zone touchdowns, which is a little bit worrisome. But yeah, I think Goddard is as good a bet as anybody to get in the end zone.
Yeah, the nice thing, well, not the nice thing. The nice thing in regards to odds in this game is the touchdown scores besides Saquon, besides Bijan, and besides Hurts are all pretty high up there. So if one of those top 3 guys don't score or score first, there's a crap load of value about the next couple guys because it's honestly a coin flip. And obviously, Devonta Smith's going to be up there for the Eagles. Kyle Pitts, Drake Leonard are going to be up there semi-high for the Falcons. But, I mean, Falcons you could probably find some rando at the bottom of the odds list, and he'll probably be in there on a 3rd and goal, and he might get a look. I don't know. So, besides the top three, and I know that's kind of the safe to say about a lot of games, but there's just not a whole lot of depth on either of these teams, especially with a couple guys out. So there could be some value in touchdown scores in this game. Do you have a lean on the over under? I have not had a whole lot of success betting NFL totals. I know it's prime time. Kirk Cousins also on prime time. The Notoriously Not Good. I saw that this opened around, looks like 48.5 down to 45.5. Was at 46 earlier today. I lean the under, but I don't feel confident enough to place it.
Yeah, I had a buddy text me today asking how I felt about it. It's like 51-49 to me. I slightly lean the over. And really, so yeah, I think Atlanta is going to be up in this game, which I don't think a lot of people think, but I think Philly's going to be the one coming from behind here, or it's going to be close. So you're going to see a competitive game script throughout. Obviously, that could be wrong, but that's the way I see the game going. And Philly just has such a high octane offense, even without AJ Brown, which is probably why the totals come down just a little bit with Brown being out, but Philly's also just so turnover prone that I think Atlanta could be set up with plenty of nice short fields to work with their drives. And yeah, I don't know. I just slight lean towards the over. 27-20 gets it done. 27-23. I could see a game somewhere in that stratosphere there. So slight lean. It's nothing I've given much thought about. It's nothing I'm even coming close to betting. Just a gut feeling that Atlanta's going to have some short fields and Philly can zing it with the best of them.
Yeah, I know their Falcons looked pretty stagnant on offense last week, scoring 10 points. Kyle Pitts touchdown, then a field goal. So I think there might be some value. I'm looking at Falcons team total right now. It's much higher than I was kind of hoping. It looks like it's right around, this is on DraftKings, but over 20.5 on Falcons team total is plus 105. Over 19.5 is minus 130. So it's probably right around 20. I really was hoping I could get that like at 17.5, but I'm not going to get there. I don't have a huge lean. Again, I said as of right now, I'd lean the under just because it's a primetime game, but I do think there might be some value on the Falcons scoring more than expected because I think their offense is going to look better than it did week one. Again, new quarterback, new coach, or do they have new coach, right?
Yeah.
New quarterback, new coach. It takes a little bit of time. And the Eagles defense is not great. And I like what you said. I think the Falcons are going to find themselves in a couple short field situations. Hurts potentially throwing some picks or fumbling it, or God knows why. He doesn't take care of the ball very well. He's potentially the new Dak. I do see also, I'm not going to take it because I took the one yesterday and did not hit, but there is a plus 100 boost on DraftKings. Saquon and Bijan, 130 combined rush yards. Seems like a trap to me.
Seems like a lot.
Yeah.
Feels like a lot of yards.
I don't know. Saquon had like 100 in week one. I think Bijan like 70. But now if it was combined rush and pass, I think that could easily get 200. I think Bijan's going to go like 60-60. Saquon maybe like a 70-30. But yeah, it does seem like a lot.
I almost forgot one more play that I absolutely love tonight. I will be betting it. I have not locked it in yet, but let me see. Kenneth Gainwell over 6.5 receiving yards.
Okay.
Obviously, has made his living in the NFL on receiving. Last week, he only had one target. He caught it. It was for 10 yards, so it did go over the total. But again, the game script in my head is Philly down, Philly needing to pass. Obviously, Saquon's a good receiving back as well, so Gainwell is not going to get as much passing work as he has in the past. But yeah, I think if he gets his receptions line, I think is 2.5, or it's got to be 1.5. But still, 6.5 yards. I mean, I think he gets that on one catch. I think that's all you need. So I'm going to take a stab at it. I think he gets in there for quite a few offensive snaps, gets some routes run, and I think Hurts is going to find him.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all. I'm trying to find his receptions. 1.5 is plus 145.
Oh, okay. So there's
the books probably have him right at one catch.
Yeah.
Could go for 6.
Yep.
On
I like
screen.
it. I'm going to play it. I'm
Okay.
going to play it. Yeah, you get Philly backed up to 3rd and 22. They're probably going to have Gainwell in for a screen, pick up 14 yards, like
On it.
screens always do. And then, yeah. Give me
I like
Gainwell over a half. What a sweat. I love sweating guys that barely see the field.
Just for context here, Ray McLeod for the Falcons, receiving yards on DraftKings is set at 28.5. I think he had like 40 or 50 receiving yards last week with like 6 or 7 targets. And again, that is 12 yards. 8 yards less than Mooney, who had 1 catch for 15. So just kind of a fishy line. I know Ray is not a solid wide receiver. He's the wide receiver 3 for the Falcons, maybe even the 4 behind Pitts. But kind of just shows you the Mooney line is pretty high there. What do you guys think about the Giants? This is a comment over from Werewolf on Twitch. What is up, brother? Very, very frustrated with the Giants. I think we were both on a money line. Didn't realize their kicker went out, and that screwed the game. That should have been a classic Commanders Giants OT tie type of game. But they went for it on 4th and 5 on their own, or on the Commanders' 30-yard line. Would have been like a 45-yard kick. They just don't have I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It pissed me off. I don't think they're that bad, but I do think they're pretty bad.
They should have won that game yesterday. Yeah, I know. I said on the live yesterday, there was like all the sharps like the over. I like the under in that game. I won, but I should not have won. That game should have soared over. They went 0 for 3 on 2-point conversions where you hit them all. That's 3 points. That goes into overtime. Not only that, but like you said, they were forced to go for it on 4th and 5, easy field goal territory. Had a missed extra point already. So, I mean, there's 7 points right there that the Giants should have had. Yeah, I watched that game start to finish. Neighbors is a stud. I have him on the fantasy team. I was loving that. Yeah, they're not that bad. Singletary was actually decent. Yeah, I like the Giants. I think they'll have some value throughout the season. Yeah, really frustrating yesterday because that win got stolen from them the second Gano went out.
Yeah. Is this the weirdest? Like, it's one. I don't think I've ever seen games where there's been multiple, or games in a season where there's been multiple 18-point games that all came from field goals. We've already had 2. And how many did the Texans? Fairbairn had what, 4 50-yarders last night? I mean, these fantasy kickers are destroying me in leagues. I mean, Fairbairn, we saw Moody. I think did Moody have 6?
He had 6.
Moody had 6. Steelers had 6. Commanders had 6. Yeah. I've never seen this. And then these guys are automatic from 50 plus too. It's absolutely insane. There was a game or a moment in that Texans game last night where it was 4th and like 3, and it was a potential 61-yarder, and they opted not to kick it, which is probably the smart play. The Bears going to move the ball to save their life, and Caleb Williams got murdered. But I mean, I think Fairbairn's probably knocking the 61-yarder in. I mean,
yeah,
these kickers are nuts.
Yeah. 2 quick things. My coworker and I were talking about that today. 322 yards was the combined yardage of field goals made in that game last night, which averages 54 yards per kick. And that's between, Fairbairn's 4, Santos had 2 50-plus yarders. I think all of their kicks were over 50, which is just insane. Also, speaking on that was the most conservative plan I've ever really seen in recent years from Houston last night. They're just playing for field goals, I felt like, which was frustrating having Tank Dell to score anytime, but you got the kicker to do it. I mean, it worked out. You won by 6. You opted for multiple long field goals, so it worked. But yeah, it's I was also talking to my coworker. I'm like, at what point in life, as these kickers evolve, are they just going to have to get to like midfield before they can start kicking?
Right.
Because 15 years ago, I mean, 48 yards, 49 yards, like you got to 50. It was like, holy shit.
Yeah. Now 60s are going no problem. I mean, what was Tucker's against the Lions 2 years ago? 66, 65? Yeah. It's nuts. And yeah, going back to that Bears game, Caleb Williams is not great, but he might have the worst offensive line in the league, and the Texans knew that and blitzed him every single play. They blitzed every single play, and Williams needs to learn. And I know I was saying what the announcers were saying, but I also saw it in a couple different plays. When they have a little bubble pass set up, when they have a little screen, you got to throw it. You got to throw it, because if you don't throw that, you are getting absolutely wrecked. And he got murdered last night. He has to be in some pain today. I was just watching that, and Hutchinson had what, 4.5? It came out to 4.5 sacks yesterday. He might have 10 against these Bears offensive line. They are so bad. And if the Lions, and if anyone watching that game saw it, they're going to blitz every single play against the Bears, because Caleb Williams still makes incredible escaping plays, but it's not college. And he keeps trying to, we saw him throw 2 picks last night where he somehow doesn't get sacked, but then throws it on the run. And those usually are 80-yard bombs at USC. And now they are interceptions, but terrible offensive line, blitz the Bears every chance you get.
Yeah, it was a rough day for him. Yeah, I know he's sore today. Really quick, because I know we're crunched on time here. I don't remember. I was going to say something about the Bears, but I do remember. I said at one point in the offseason, hated the DeAndre Swift signing, and I could, at this point, 2 games in, early season, but at this point, I feel like I couldn't have been more right about that. You and I got the pleasure of watching him for 3 years or so in Detroit. He's not that good. He had 1 good season behind the best O-line in football. Got paid for it, so good for him. But yeah, he's if you're trying to run him through the tackles and control the pace of the game, run the clock, get him for 100 yards, that's not your guy. So yeah, I was low on the Swift signing right off the bat, and so far, not great.
Last comment here before we have to head out. Is there anyone I should be keeping my eye on to replace Pacheco in fantasy? I'm in the same boat as you. I have Pacheco in a league, and I am I think I have Singletary that's on my bench, so I'll probably just start him and just hope that he continues to have 40 yards and a touchdown every week. But yeah, to keep your eye on, I mean, it depends how big your league is. There's 8-man leagues where you can still find decent guys out of the waivers, or a 12 or 14-man league. You're kind of stretched thin there. But I mean, who's going to be the running back at KC? Clyde?
So
or the white guy?
So I literally texted Ben at 4:41 today. So what is that? Less than 2 hours ago. Said the second you hear anything about Kansas City's running back situation, you gotta let me know, because I have Pacheco and Zamir White. So I'm done for. He said, quote, "They've already been using Pirine, and he's the primary receiving back. Steele fumbled, and I don't think they want him to be the main ball carrier, but he'll probably see the most carries, even if we sign Kareem Hunt."
Hunt's backing talks.
He visited today. I would not pick up Hunt right away. He'll probably at least spend 1 game on the practice squad, I would have to figure. So yeah, I think as far as what Ben is saying, and probably what I would say, is Pirine would be your safest bet for right now. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah, it is tough. The injuries are killer. I'm interested to see what the Rams do. Their season is not looking great at the moment. 0-2, but down Kupp and Puka. I picked up. What'd you say? And everyone else.
And everybody else.
Yeah, their O-line's terrible. So Rams are on a downward spiral. I'm interested to see what wide receivers is going to emerge there. I picked up one. I forget his name. We'll see if he does anything. But yeah, that is it, guys. I do have to go. I have an anniversary dinner tonight. Just quickly, our plays. Appreciate you for hopping in here, Werewolf. Thank you for the comments as well. We go live every Monday. We also do some Saturday morning lives as well as Sunday morning lives for college football and NFL. But we appreciate you hopping in and glad to answer any questions that you give. Quickly, I'm on the Falcons. I'm on Mooney, Darnell Mooney over yards. I'm on Dotson over receptions, and I've sprinkled Dotson to score first.
Yeah, I'm on biggest play is Falcons, plus I got 6.5. I still like the 5.5. I'm on Jahan Dotson over 2.5 catches. I will be on Kenneth Gainwell over 6.5 receiving yards. And I've pivoted because my gut is telling me Devontae Smith anytime touchdown. I gave out Goddard earlier. I'm switching. Devontae Smith, he's going to be the go-to guy.
I like it. We will tweet out our official plays. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back on Saturday, probably most likely, depending what our weekend plans are. But we'll have a college football show coming out as well as our NFL show coming out later this week. Appreciate you guys. Good luck and enjoy the game tonight. Hopefully, you guys all win some money.